All right, listeners, get ready for this, because today we're going deep into a land of fjords and longboats and maybe some unexpected leadership advice.
This is going to be good.
We're talking Vikinglaw.
You got that right.
Yeah, our source material today is a book called Vikinglaw, The New Old Way to Victory. And it's,
I'm already intrigued.
yeah, it's way more relevant to your daily life than you might think.
It really is.
So get ready.
Yeah, this book, it's really fascinating how it just takes that stereotypical image of Vikings, you know, just those bloodthirsty raiders.
Right, pillaging and burning.
Yeah, exactly. And it challenges it.
Yeah.
They were actually also skilled traders and explorers.
Right.
And really incredibly organized.
That's what we're going to focus on today.
Yes.
That's where the good stuff is.
Absolutely.
We're going to explore how those ancient principles can help you in the modern day.
In the modern world.
To be a better leader and a better team member, even if your only conquest is, you know, that Monday morning overflowing inbox. So the book, it's great. It really kind of translates these ancient laws into strategies for modern challenges, like communication, problem solving,
Big one.
team dynamics.
Yes, very relevant.
Okay, you ready to dive in?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, so the first Viking law
Okay.
is be brave and aggressive.
Right.
Now, before you envision yourself storming into your next meeting with an axe, let's clarify what this means in a modern context.
Right.
So instead of literal combat, the book uses this law to highlight the importance of direct and clear communication.
That's such a good point.
And it really dives into, you know, how indirect communication, which is so common in today's workplace.
Oh, it's everywhere.
Can just lead to confusion.
So much confusion.
So much wasted time deciphering emails and, you know, tiptoeing around sensitive topics.
Yes.
The book argues that this Viking-style directness can be a real asset.
It can really cut through a lot of the fluff.
Yeah.
And just get down to what matters.
It makes you think about how much time is wasted with that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
There's a great story in the book about a coach who was trying to implement agile methodologies.
Ooh, yeah.
But his team was resistant.
Oh,
they were kind of hiding behind all these agile posters.
So they weren't really embracing it.
Without truly embracing the principles.
I've seen that happen.
So what did he do?
What did he do?
Did he lead them in a Viking chant?
I hope so.
No, he didn't, but he did something pretty dramatic.
Right.
He ripped the agile posters right off the wall.
Wow, okay.
Which, you know...
Bold move.
It was a bold move that forced the team to kind of confront that resistance and engage in an honest conversation about the challenges they were facing.
I like that.
So maybe we don't need to start tearing things down in our workplaces.
Right, hopefully not.
But the point is, clear communication, even when it's uncomfortable, can cut through all that BS and get everyone on the same page.
And that's so important for a team to be successful.
It is.
Everyone needs to be on the same page.
So the book really emphasizes that this bravery that we're talking about also extends to seizing opportunities.
Yes.
And taking calculated risks.
And absolutely.
And it's also about being resourceful.
Yes.
It's not just about talking the talk.
Right.
You have to have the tools and skills.
Yeah, you wouldn't go into battle with a dull axe.
Exactly.
You need to be prepared.
The book uses that very analogy.
Yeah.
Vikings were meticulous about maintaining their weapons and always strived for the best.
Always improving.
In a work setting, this translates to investing in your skills, constantly learning and seeking out those most effective methods.
Couldn't agree more.
There's this great anecdote in the book about Ricardo Semler, who's a Brazilian businessman.
Right.
And to tackle employee theft at his factory, he did something completely counterintuitive.
Oh, I love when people do that.
He got rid of all the security measures.
What?
And told employees to take whatever tools they needed.
Okay, hold on. So he just let them walk off with things.
Well, here's the catch.
Right.
Stolen items weren't immediately replaced.
Oh.
So the result was theft actually decreased.
Right.
Because employees realized that their actions directly impacted their colleagues.
Wow.
And the overall workflow.
That's fascinating.
So instead of imposing strict controls, he fostered a sense of responsibility and trust.
That's a really good point.
Which led to a more positive outcome.
It's amazing how that works. When you trust people,
Yeah.
they often rise to the occasion.
Exactly. And it challenges that traditional command and control style of leadership and shows how empowering people can be more effective.
It really can.
So Viking Law number 1.
Okay.
It's about more than just being loud and assertive.
Right.
It's about clear communication, calculated risk-taking, and being prepared to adapt and evolve.
That's a great summary.
Which brings us to the second law.
Okay.
Be prepared.
I like this one.
This one really resonated with me
Me too.
because it emphasizes the importance of continuous learning and knowledge acquisition.
Yes. We never stop learning.
It's like sharpening your axe, right?
Exactly.
In today's world,
Yeah.
things are changing so fast.
Constantly changing.
We can't rely on what we learned 5 years ago.
Yep.
We have to keep updating our skills and knowledge base.
You got it.
The book gives a stark warning
Okay.
about the dangers of falling behind.
Right.
There's a story about a department head
Right.
who was advocating for major changes,
Okay.
but he hadn't bothered to learn the specifics of those changes himself.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's not good.
It was a disaster.
I can imagine.
He was completely unprepared to answer questions or address concerns,
Oh,
and it undermined his credibility
of course.
and the entire initiative.
Yeah. So lesson learned.
Yeah.
Even if you're the one leading the charge, you can't just coast on past experience. You got to stay up to date.
Got to keep learning.
Yes.
So the book highlights a range of learning methods
Okay.
beyond formal training,
Right. Like what?
like open space technology,
I was just going to say that.
which is a way to organize meetings
Yeah.
where the participants themselves set the agenda.
It's very self-organized.
Yeah.
Very empowering.
And discuss topics that are most relevant to them.
So it's about tapping into the collective wisdom of the group.
Exactly.
I love that.
The book also mentions things like lean coffee,
Yes.
which is a more informal format
More relaxed.
for sharing knowledge and insights.
Yeah, it's a great way to just get people talking
Yeah.
and sharing their ideas.
And then there's moding,
Moding.
which involves modifying or customizing tools and technologies to fit specific needs.
Right. So it's about being adaptable,
Yeah.
finding what works for you.
And pair programming.
Yeah, where two programmers work together on the same code,
Yeah.
sharing knowledge.
Catching error.
Yes, it's a great way to learn from each other.
And these examples show that continuous learning doesn't have to be stuffy or formal.
No, not at all.
It can be fun.
It should be fun.
It should be.
Yeah.
So it's about embracing different approaches, finding what works best for you and your team, and fostering that culture of shared learning.
Absolutely.
And this Viking law
Yeah.
goes beyond individual learning.
Okay.
It also applies to building the right team.
That's an important point.
And there's this great metaphor.
Okay.
It's the axe through the CV metaphor.
Oh, yes. The book's critique of traditional resumes.
Yeah.
I love that part.
So the argument is that CVs often focus too much on past achievements and titles and not enough on an individual's passion.
Right. Or their potential.
Yeah, and their cultural fit.
Yes, exactly.
How much can you really tell about a person
Right.
from a list of bullet points?
Not much.
So instead of relying on these outdated metrics, the book suggests a more holistic approach.
I like that.
It proposes replacing the traditional CV with a one-page resume focusing on an individual's core skills, interests, and what they genuinely want to contribute.
So it's about understanding someone's drive, their why,
Yes.
rather than just their past accomplishments.
Exactly.
That's such a good point.
This challenges us to rethink how we assess talent and potential, both as individuals and as organizations.
It's a shift from a purely transactional approach to a more human-centric one,
Yeah.
recognizing that a team's success depends on the unique strengths and passions of each member.
And this is where the Viking law of be a good trader comes in.
I like this one.
Now, we're not talking about reading Wall Street,
No.
but rather about a surprisingly relevant principle for modern life.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
This law emphasizes fairness and transparency in all your interactions.
Okay, so it's about being ethical
Yeah.
and upfront.
It's about understanding the needs of your market,
Your market, okay?
whether that's your clients, your colleagues, or your stakeholders.
It's about building relationships.
Yeah. And delivering on your promises.
Yes,
No shady deals or fine print in Viking law.
I love that.
Right.
Very straightforward.
So it highlights the importance of building lasting relationships based on mutual benefit and trust.
Trust is so important,
It is.
especially in today's world.
Which is
Yeah.
especially crucial in today's world of remote work,
Yes.
where so much communication happens digitally.
It's so easy for things to get lost in translation.
Yeah, the book makes a really interesting point about how clear communication
Yeah,
becomes even more vital in those settings.
absolutely.
Because you don't have those nonverbal cues.
Right.
So we need to be extra mindful
Yeah.
of how we communicate.
Make sure our message is clear,
Yeah.
concise, and considerate.
And this Viking-style good trading, it extends beyond just words.
Right.
It's about being reliable,
Yes.
keeping your word,
Mm-hmm.
building a reputation based on integrity and fairness.
It's about your actions matching your words.
Because ultimately, whether you're selling goods or ideas,
Right.
people want to work with those they can trust.
Absolutely. In a world where your online reputation can make or break you,
Yes.
this Vikinglaw is more relevant than ever.
Okay. Ready to delve into the final Vikinglaw?
Hit me with it.
This one might seem a bit counterintuitive at first.
Right.
Keep the camp in order.
All right. Before we picture Vikings, meticulously organizing their axes and helmets, this law isn't about being a neat freak.
No, it's about creating an environment where everyone can thrive and do their best work.
I like that.
The book actually draws this fascinating comparison between two prisons.
Okay.
One was chaotic and messy, while the other was clean and organized.
Interesting.
And the results were striking.
What happened?
The prison with the clean and structured environment saw a significant decrease in violence and conflict.
Wow. So it really does have an impact.
It does.
On behavior.
So it's not about having perfectly aligned desks, but about recognizing that our surroundings can impact our behavior and our mental state.
Absolutely. A well-maintained environment, whether physical or digital, can promote focus, clarity, and a sense of calm.
It can.
Yeah.
But this law goes beyond just physical space, right?
Yeah.
It also applies to the way we organize our work, our processes, our interactions.
Okay. So it's about having clear decision-making processes.
Yeah.
Well-defined roles and responsibilities and systems for feedback and improvement.
Yes, and remember, keeping the camp in order doesn't mean imposing rigid rules and stifling creativity.
Right.
The book actually cautions against top-down fun activities.
That is forced fun.
Yeah.
Never fun.
There's an example of a company that tried to force knowledge sharing by making everyone attend these mandatory evening sessions.
Oh no, I can already see where this is going.
And it backfired spectacularly.
Of course it did.
It created resentment and damaged morale.
Yeah. People don't like being forced to do things.
No, they don't.
They want to feel like they have a choice.
So the book emphasizes the importance of meaningful activities that strengthen the group organically, not through forced participation.
Right.
It also introduces the concept of the insight store.
The insight store. What's that?
Which is from lean change management.
Okay.
And it's all about encouraging feedback and self-management.
So instead of dictating every detail, this approach empowers individuals to contribute their ideas and take ownership of their work.
Exactly.
Like that.
Which ties into another crucial point.
All right.
Ensuring that everyone has meaningful work.
Yes.
That aligns with their skills and passions.
So important.
The book even references Frederick Winslow Taylor,
Taylor,
who's often seen as the father of rigid top-down management.
Really?
But he's often misunderstood.
Okay.
Taylor actually believed that matching a person's skills to their tasks was crucial for their satisfaction and productivity.
Interesting. So it's about finding that sweet spot where individual talents meet the needs of the team.
It is.
I like that.
And this aligns perfectly with the Vikinglaw's surprisingly insightful take on leadership.
Okay, what's that?
Listen to everyone and take everyone seriously.
Oh, that's powerful.
Yeah, it's a far cry from the image of a dictatorial Viking chieftain barking orders.
Right, exactly.
This law reminds us that good leadership isn't about wielding power.
Yeah.
It's about empowering others.
And being aware of your own biases and limitations.
Yes. The book warns against hubris as a danger to leaders.
Hubris like arrogance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can definitely lead to problems.
It argues that arrogance and overconfidence can lead to poor decisions.
Of course.
And damage team morale.
So keep the camp in order.
Yeah.
It's about creating an environment where everyone feels valued, heard, and empowered to do their best work.
It is.
It's about clarity, structure, and psychological safety.
Okay, so we've covered the 4 Viking laws.
We've done it.
But how do we translate these ancient principles into action?
That's the big question, isn't it?
That's where things get really interesting.
All right, I'm ready for part 2.
Let's do it.
All right, so we're back.
Back for more Viking wisdom.
More Vikinglaw.
Yes. So now that we've kind of laid out these 4 core principles.
Right.
How do we actually apply them, you know?
Right. How do we make them work for us in the real world?
In our daily work lives.
Exactly, because, I don't know about you, but
Yeah.
leading my team in a Viking war cry
Yeah.
might not go over so well.
Not the best look in the boardroom?
Probably not, but
Mm.
luckily,
Yeah.
the book gives us some practical
Okay, good.
and thankfully less traumatic
Phew.
ways to incorporate these principles.
Okay, I'm listening.
So it starts by introducing these 3 key roles
Okay.
that can be found in any successful team.
All
The
right.
Jarl, the Warlord, and the Berserker.
Those names sound pretty intense.
Right out of a Norse saga.
So how do those translate into the modern workplace?
So each role kind of represents a different aspect of leadership and expertise
Okay.
that are vital for a team's success.
Gotcha.
So for example, the Jarl is like the wise counsel,
Okay.
the experienced guide.
So like the Yoda of the group,
Yeah, exactly.
sharing their wisdom.
The mentor, the coach,
Yeah.
someone who provides that knowledge and guidance to the team.
Okay, so it's not necessarily the person with the highest title,
Not necessarily.
but it's the person who has the most knowledge and experience.
Yeah, the deep knowledge and the ability to help others grow.
Makes sense. What about the warlord?
All right, so the Warlord...
Does that imply like a more authoritative
Yeah,
command and control style?
not really.
Oh, okay.
The Warlord, as described in the book, is more of a visionary strategist.
Okay.
They're the ones who set the overall direction, define the goals.
So they're kind of like the person with the map and compass
Yeah.
guiding the ship.
Yeah, making sure everyone is aligned with that bigger picture.
I like it.
They have that understanding of where the team needs to go
Mm-hmm.
and how to get there.
Okay.
And then lastly, we have the Berserker.
All right. I'm a little hesitant to ask,
I know.
but what exactly does a berserker do? Yeah.
In a modern team setting?
Don't worry, no axes are involved.
Okay, good.
So the berserker is that unconventional problem solver,
Okay.
the one who's willing to challenge the status quo and think outside the box.
So the disruptor,
Yeah.
the innovator,
They're not afraid to experiment, push boundaries.
the one who comes up with the creative solution
Exactly.
when everyone else is kind of stuck.
They bring that fresh perspective
Okay.
and aren't afraid to question the way things have always been done.
I like it. I can see how these roles could be really valuable
Oh, yeah.
in a team.
Every team needs a good mix of these.
Yeah, what about meetings?
Meetings.
The book mentions some pretty intense sounding formats,
Oh, yeah, like what?
like trailblazing sessions and Ragnarok.
Right.
Are we
right.
talking war drums and chanting here?
No war drums or chanting.
Okay, good.
But the book's suggestions are much more practical.
Okay.
So the trailblazing session, for instance, is basically a forward-looking retrospective.
A forward-looking retrospective. I know it sounds a little strange,
What is that?
but it's basically about proactively identifying and addressing potential obstacles
Okay.
before they become problems.
So instead of looking back at what went wrong,
Yeah.
we're looking ahead at what could go wrong
Exactly.
and trying to prevent it.
It's like planning for a storm before you set sail.
I like it.
Reinforcing the ship, making sure everyone knows what to do if things get rough.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
So it's about anticipation and preparation.
Yeah.
Very much in line with that Vikinglaw of be prepared.
Okay, what about Ragnarok meetings?
Ragnarok.
Those sound a little apocalyptic.
Yeah, so these are described as a last resort,
Okay.
a way to break through stagnation or tackle those seemingly insurmountable challenges.
So if the ship is already sinking,
Yeah.
this is the meeting where we're trying to bail out the water.
Yes, it's about creating that sense of urgency,
Yeah.
that do-or-die mentality to really get the team into action.
All right, so you're bringing everyone together
Everyone's in this together.
and saying, we gotta fix this.
Yes, failure's not an option.
That sounds intense.
It can be intense,
But I can see how in certain situations
Yeah.
it could be effective.
but you have to use it sparingly,
Right.
only when it's really necessary.
So we've got meetings for prevention and meetings for extreme course correction.
Right.
What about those times where a team needs to break away from the routine
Yes.
and just explore new ideas?
Explore, get creative.
Yeah. Does Vikinglaw have anything to say
It does.
about fostering creativity and innovation?
It does. The book suggests a format called pit fights.
Okay, hold on. Are we talking about actual hand-to-hand combat here?
No hand-to-hand combat.
Okay, good. I was a little worried.
So pit fights in this context
Yeah.
are really just dedicated times for free exploration and innovation.
Okay.
It's about giving individuals or teams the freedom to experiment, brainstorm new ideas.
So you can throw out any idea no matter how crazy.
Yeah. See what sticks?
I like it.
It's fostering that culture of experimentation and continuous learning.
It sounds like a great way to just break out of those rigid, traditional ways of thinking.
Yeah, get people thinking differently.
How do you actually bring these Viking-inspired roles and meeting formats into an existing team or organization?
That's a great question.
Is there like a step-by-step guide?
There's no rigid blueprint.
Okay.
Because every team, every organization is unique.
Right.
But the book emphasizes understanding your own context,
Okay.
adapting the principles to your specific needs,
Yeah.
and most importantly, getting buy-in from everyone involved.
You can't just force people to embrace the Viking way.
You can't force it. It has to be organic.
No matter how cool it sounds.
Right.
So it's about collaboration, communication,
Yeah.
and perhaps a bit of that Viking bravery
A little bit of that boldness.
to challenge those traditional ways of working.
Yes.
And explore those new possibilities.
I love it.
So we've covered the laws, the roles, the meetings.
Not at all.
But there's one more element of the book that I'm
Yeah.
really curious about.
Right. The concept of the council.
The council.
What exactly is a Viking council?
So the council in Vikinglaw serves as a strategic advisory body.
Okay.
So think of it like a gathering of wise elders,
Okay.
bringing together experts from different areas.
So it's not just about warriors and berserkers.
No,
You need some wise voices in the mix, too.
you need that balance.
Okay.
So the council provides that platform for collaboration
Yeah.
and strategic decision-making.
Okay.
It's about bringing together those diverse perspectives, anticipating challenges, and finding solutions that benefit the entire organization.
That sounds like a really valuable tool,
It is.
especially in larger organizations where, different teams are often operating in silos,
Right.
sometimes even working at cross purposes.
So the council can bring everyone together.
Yeah, but meetings can sometimes be a bit of a drag.
They can be.
How do you make sure these council gatherings are engaging and productive?
That's a good point. The book emphasizes having that clear purpose.
Structured discussions
Okay.
and actionable outcomes.
So it's not just a talking shop.
No, it's about getting things done.
Okay.
It suggests using visual aids,
Yeah.
facilitation techniques, and creating a safe space for open and honest communication.
Because no one wants to be the one to challenge the Viking chieftains.
Right.
Unless they know their voice will be heard and respected.
Exactly. It's about fostering that culture of trust and mutual respect.
So the council is like a think tank, a strategy session, and a platform for collaboration.
All rolled into one.
Sounds pretty powerful.
It is.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
But before we wrap up our Viking voyage,
Okay.
there's one more thing I got to ask you about.
All right, shoot.
The book mentions runes and Norse gods.
Yes.
Are we about to delve into ancient mysticism here?
Well, the book doesn't go too deep into those aspects.
Okay.
Acknowledging that they kind of fall outside its focus
Okay.
on leadership and teamwork.
So no need to sacrifice a goat to Odin.
No goats necessary.
Before our next team meeting,
No, but I appreciate your enthusiasm
I am committed.
for embracing the full Viking experience.
But on a serious note, it's fascinating how these seemingly ancient and even brutal laws
Right.
offer so many surprisingly relevant insights
I know, it's not.
for modern leaders and teams.
It really speaks to the enduring nature of human challenges
Yeah.
and the timeless principles of leadership, collaboration, and resilience.
And maybe we could all benefit from channeling a little bit of that Viking spirit
A little bit.
in our daily lives.
It hasn't hurt.
But before we officially conclude our epic adventure,
Okay.
I want to leave you with this final thought-provoking question.
All right, let's hear it.
We've talked about, courage and risk-taking throughout this whole deep dive.
Yeah, being bold, taking action.
But there's this kind of subtle point in the book
So-
that really stuck with me.
Right.
It suggests that sometimes the bravest action is actually not charging into battle.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So are we talking like strategic retreats?
Yeah, knowing when to cut your losses.
It's more nuanced than that.
Okay.
The book argues that sometimes the most strategic move is to just pause,
Okay.
assess the situation, gather more information
Right.
before taking any action.
So it's not about reckless bravado.
No.
It's about calculated courage.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Like, sure, you could just swing your axe at every problem that comes your way.
Right. Just charge in.
But sometimes it's wiser to step back, sharpen your blade, and choose your target carefully.
That's a great analogy.
Right?
It's a powerful reminder that true strength isn't just about brute force.
No.
It's about discernment, patience,
Yeah.
knowing when to act. and when to wait.
And that applies to so many areas of life, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Whether you're leading a team, negotiating a deal, or even just figuring out your next career move.
Any decision, really.
Yeah.
This idea of calculated courage, it really resonates with me.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the Stoic philosophy of focusing on what you can control and accepting what you can't.
And it ties into the Vikinglaw of be prepared, right?
Yes.
Sometimes the best preparation is taking that time to observe, analyze, and make sure you're choosing the right battle to fight.
Be strategic. Be intentional.
Yeah.
Don't just react impulsively.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Vikinglaw,
It's been great.
I want to leave you with this final thought.
All right.
What aspect of your work or life could use a dose of that Viking bravery right now?
Ooh, good question.
And what small step could you take this week to bring that about?
Maybe it's finally having that difficult conversation you've been putting off.
Oh, yeah.
Or investing in learning a new skill that will help you advance in your career.
Or maybe it's just taking a moment to pause, assess, and choose your next move wisely.
Like a true Viking strategist.
Exactly.
Love it.
So until next time, may your axes be sharp.
Your spirit's bold.
And your journeys filled with discovery.
And a little bit of Viking wisdom.
Always